Yeah. No, you know what though? I'm not gonna lie. I love an East Coast man. Period. I really do. An East Coast man is just it's just a different wave. It's a different wave. But I think that's a coastal culture too, though. For the most part, the East Coast prides itself on education more than anything else. Out here, that's a different industry.
But it's also too outside.
It's tech.
Out here, they're like education.
Outside of
no, but it's different. A lot of this is much more the entrepreneurial startup, like build the plane as you fly it type of culture out here. It's not as axe to the grindstone every day. It's not, in New York, it's like we pride ourselves on how hard we can go versus what we're actually producing.
Right. But it's what the culture creates too, because like we're spoiled by the weather. We don't have to grind in the winter to make sense out of summer. Like we don't have those separations to make like one thing a priority, one thing pivotal. You know what I mean? Like that.
Whatever we feel
skin.
in the day is what we're gonna wake up and do, and that's just it. But that's also the difference too. I feel like a New Yorker's hustle mentality is way different than a LA's. You know what I mean? New Yorkers, you got to get on the train every day to go to work. You know, not everybody's out there Ubering, taking taxi cabs. No. When you got to take a train, like your time has to be different. Like you're relying on other people constantly to like just go on about your day. Here, you're getting your car, you're doing whatever. It's more lackadaisical. It's just kind of like, If
that
you
has
have
to do
the
with
ambition,
efficiency too.
Yeah, if you have the ambition, you have the ambition out here. But New York, you have no choice but to have the ambition.
Otherwise, you're missing out.
Otherwise, you're not gonna have food.
Somebody
on
else
your
is
table.
after that bag.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing too, because like in New York, you leave the crib once, you're back at night. Like here, I'm like, I'm gonna go back home and smoke between meetings. Like, need to smoke that last one off, like or whatever. There, you're not going back home, resting for a second, going back out. You better have your heels in the bag, and let's go for the full night. It's just like a different.
Yeah, only your outfits have to be transitional.
Well, we're happy to have you here at least.
Yeah.
Are you staying in LA a while?
I mean, I planned on staying a while. I've
Is
been here
this
for 8
like-
years. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. I didn't plan on staying this long, and I'm here, so I don't know if there's any.
There's gonna be a no turning back place.
I don't know. I think if I could afford to live in New York the way that I want to, then I would go back.
Say it. So when you have kids, do you want to raise your kids in New York or LA?
I don't know. Either or.
I'm doing both, girl. We gonna do both. Alexi's gonna be in New York and LA because I love both. Everything that we talk about is just like, I want him to have both. I want him to have that New York mentality, and I want him to have the LA. You figured it out too, doing the bi-coastal thing, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, where you're raised for the most part, though. For me, it's especially being mixed. I would want to be in a culturally diverse space. Yeah,
they're both though. They both offer that kind of like. Yeah. Do you think one's more diverse than the other?
I think one is more forcibly diverse than the other. Yes, New York is for sure.
Just as far as like the cultural representation.
You can be black and have money and live in Brentwood. It doesn't mean you're going to be around anybody else who's black. Chances are you send your kids to the local school. There's not going to be any kids in there that are black.
That's true.
So to me, that's I mean, in New York City, your parents can have a townhouse on the Upper East Side and you still go in a public school because public school education in New York is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Considering how much we pay in taxes.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I think from
it's
that.
All dependent.
Yeah, it's all dependent on really what type of life you want. I would love to raise my kids in New York City. I think New York City is an incredible place. And I think you have no choice but to kind of keep your wits about you about everything because you're always surrounded by people. Even as a kid, I was taking the train by myself when I was like 9 years old.
Right. And that's
you gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
You figure it out. You get lost somewhere, you help somebody. If somebody talks to you, you feel uncomfortable. You just know what to do. You know what I mean? You figure it out. You figure it out as a kid, so you don't feel panicked. You don't feel like
sheltered.
distressed. Yeah, you don't feel distressed about little things. You're not moved by it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's
that's a good segue for like our paying it forward because our question has to do kind of with just like male preference and what we date. It was, and you were just saying in regards to men, and you were like talking about just like a black man or a New York man versus a Los Angeles man. Like, would you date a mixed guy? Is that
I think every guy that I've dated is mixed.
Ew.
Black and Dominican, black and Mexican, black and white, black, like Caribbean
but they're all
and
black.
Jamaican and Trinidadian. Yeah.
Have you dated anybody that's not black?
Fuck up.
No.
Ooh, not Irish.
No, but not because it's not a preference. Not because I have a preference. It's really what's preferred me, to be honest. It's
all
really what's
mixed.
preferred
I've
me.
never heard this, and I just want you to know I'm caught off guard.
Why are you caught off guard?
You've dated all mixed men?
Yeah, for the most part.
Fuck.
I mean, I think like in high school, I had a just a straight Dominican boyfriend.
Yeah.
But like real,
Tricked.
I'm only considering my adult my real adult relationships. My real adult relationships. Yeah, my first real serious relationship, he was Black and Mexican. Another one was Black and white, and then Black and Dominican, and then yeah.
So do you feel like that's a commonality? Do you look for that?
No,
It just
Comes to your
ends up that way.
it just kind of ended up that way. They all have similarities. They're all like similar in tribe, but it's
I feel like you kind of like a pretty looking boy.
it's attributes though. I need pretty, but I need a little rough around the edges. It can't be totally pretty.
right.
gotta be a little-
That's that New York in you.
It's gotta be
You
some
can't be
element
harder
of
than your nigga.
yeah, like when we
Right.
going at it, we screaming, we arguing, we fighting. It's always gotta teeter that line between like this could become domestic violence. Do you know what I'm saying?
I
Like
know
it's
you never
almost
would.
there, but I know
Yeah.
you
Who
never
are you
would. But I'm
telling?
looking at the look in your eyes, and it's telling me I may need to
I should
just back
shut
the
up.
fuck
I
off
should shut the
because
fuck up at this point in time.
because if I keep
Right.
pushing this is gonna go real
gonna
left.
go
Yeah.
left. It's
So
gonna go left, right.
no, I think yeah, I don't think there's a preference. Honestly though, it wasn't, and this sounds so fucked up, but I gotta tell you, it wasn't until I cut my hair off and dyed it blonde that white guys talk to me or people from other races talk to me.
Shut up.
White guys in New York never talk to me.
Really?
Never,
Yeah.
never. I had a crush. I actually had a crush on a Vietnamese guy.
Ooh.
Never talked. Never was
yes,
like terrified.
come through open mind.
You like come
right,
on.
right.
Like
right.
I grew up in
But
New York
not-
City. Like
yeah.
one of my best friends growing up was Chinese and Jamaican.
Mhm.
Like,
Ooh, that's
come
a
on.
bomb little mix.
Bomb mix.
bomb.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
Aniko
Yeah.
Hart, come through.
Right. So, and in New York, it's not as common.
Yeah.
Black and Asian is not as common as it is out here.
Right.
Ugh, I had her the whole time. That's why I don't date mixed men, because it's like, you guys remind me of my homegirls. I do not want to look at
But
them.
that's an interesting point though, because that goes back to like New York and LA and all
Right.
of that stuff, because it's like you're not used
You're
to having
it's a
that.
melting pot, but it's
Right.
also it wasn't a deliberate selection on my part, but I definitely
It's consistent.
it's
Consistency
consistent,
is key.
but I'm also because I'm also an advocate for making sure that there's a lot of representation of cultures in the household. I come from the probably most opposing races that we can think of right now,
Right.
outside of Korea and North Korea. So
Right.
it's South Korea, North Korea, but or Donald Trump and everybody else that's smart. So I feel like for me, I have no choice but to constantly be the spokesperson for both sides in certain conversations. And I think when I think about having children, I think about who my partner is. I have to consider that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's gonna be. I don't know what color my kid's gonna come out if I have
Right.
if I could have very well procreate with a white guy and my baby comes out looking like Blake Griffin. We don't know.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Like it could go that direction.
Always.
It could go all ways.
Always.
You know what I mean? But even then,
don't
it's
wish
like,
that
am
on
I
you.
am I gonna be with a white guy that's comfortable enough explaining why his son's hair texture is not the same as
Yeah.
Zach
Yeah.
Morris?
Ooh.
I just feel like
How
that's
did you
that's
do
conscious
that,
for
though?
me.
How did you find a way to kind of, I guess, relate and have that exist inside of you for your Black side if you just grew up with like an Irish mom and that wasn't really her experience or what she was pulling from? Like, how did you still find a way to tap into that and stay
And stay Black.
stay woke, young queen?
Yeah.
I think for me it had to do with my mother made it a point to embrace all sides at all
Yes.
points, and her friends were diverse, so
Mhm.
it wasn't. I didn't have
Hey,
any.
your mom is a woke bitch. Because let me tell
My
you.
mom has a Black Lives Matter sticker on the fridge.
Oh, so your mom's like my mom.
My mom shows up to my white uncle's house with grenades ready to debate every single week.
Okay.
And what does she do
So,
for a living? I forgot. What do you
she
call
was a midwife.
A midwife. So
Yeah, she
she's-
delivered babies. And all of her, yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
usher yes,
Right,
bring the
yeah.
new generation
That was
into the
part of what
universe.
started the fight that night.
Yes, it was actually with Braden. Damn, shout out to Braden. Braden thugged it out in a
Yeah,
debate with
he
my mother. My
did.
mother will debate anybody. You come, you want.
Braden will too.
My mother wants all the smoke. My
No.
mother wants all the smoke
I
at all
would
times.
love to meet
Respectful.
MK one.
Oh, you will.
I
You
love
will.
smoke.
She was
You
a great
will.
time. That was a great
You will.
time. But yeah,
Um,
she is a
yeah.
woke here.
I think that, I mean, when I was little, my mom bought me black baby dolls so that I would have kind of an idea about what normal was. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, she
So
wasn't
it
trying to have you
just-
conditioned for like white Anglo-Saxon.
Well, no,
beauty.
because the other thing was too, like people would say all the time that I could pass. It's like, oh, well, she's so cute. Who's her dad? And she points to the black man, at the big black man in the back, and it's I didn't know.
Did he
And it's
rape
like,
you?
what the fuck?
What happened?
Right, like
How
it's the
did he
90s,
get
bitch.
you?
What's wrong with you?
right.
It's the
Ugh.
90s, bitch.
Right.
Like, what are you
fuck is
doing?
happening?
Mhm.
Right. It was just dumb. So, I think for me, it didn't occur to me that there was a huge difference until I hit puberty.
Yeah.
And I was always a tomboy. And all of a sudden I was getting attention. All of a sudden you get, you just wake up.
No, I actually never developed as a woman. So please tell us what happens when your body changes.
God.
She said, like, I'm like, yeah, I got all the attention when my tits got there. Bitch.
Sorry.
What happened?
Totally wasn't trying to patronize. God damn it. All right. Well, I got ass and titties all of a sudden out of nowhere, and I got a lot of attention from a lot of guys, and they were all minority guys, and it was really uncomfortable. But in that time where you're doing all your your weird adolescent psych evaluations and all of that. There were moments of like, okay, well, how do I identify? I just consider, politically correct. I'm a person of color, right? Because I'm mixed. So technically, I don't fall into any real category. So we'll just call it that. But once I got to middle school, it was like, oh, well, your dad's black and you're curvy as hell. You look Puerto Rican. Girl, you black. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're just black.
Right.
Yeah.
White people didn't know what to say. White people were always like, well, even my family members were kind of like, well, who cares? It's not a big thing. And it's like, no, it's a thing. Because when I walk into the grocery store with my dad and people look at him like he's
who are you?
A rapist. Right.
Yeah, right.
It's a very different experience.
I agree with you 100%.
Did you ever like encounter like racism or like,
oh yeah,
growing up, like, did you feel like you felt like you fit in with black girls? You know what I mean? Like, I know for me personally, it was like, I went to school with all white kids, so I was always like the token black girl, but then I have like my cousin and I were just talking about it, and she never felt accepted by other black girls,
Right.
Did you ever have to deal with any of that growing up?
All of my girlfriends growing up were Hispanic. So they were all, Puerto Rican, Ecuadorian, Nicaraguan. So everybody looked like me. Do you know what I mean? I didn't really make the distinction.
That's interesting.
Everybody looked like me, but they weren't mixed. They were Latin. So technically they had their own little clique.
Right.
You never tried to front, because when I was in 7th grade, I was like, whatever, I'll just be Puerto Rican with y'all.
I mean, I did when I was younger, but then I also felt like, no.
Yeah.
Like,
wait a minute.
No.
My mom and my dad are my mom and dad.
No, I don't want to eat everything with rice. I don't want this. No.
Very binding. It gets very binding.
I don't want this. I don't want this life.
I love a pollo guisado, okay?
Listen. Just get her out of the Bronx. So.
She's 3 years in and she's very excited.
She's very excited. But yeah, so I think I fit in with all the Spanish girls at the time, and then once I got to like junior high school, they all hated me because I looked like them, and all their little boyfriends like me, but I wasn't. They couldn't relate to me. I wasn't Latin. Honestly, the only girls I ever really had issues with were Hispanic girls. I never had any issues with black girls.
Really?
Because I can always gauge the energy. There were black girls. If they liked you, you would know. If they didn't like you, you would also know.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't hold any punches. I always felt like Hispanic girls would try to like kind of cozy up to you and be your friend. Oh my God, you're so pretty. And then, and then they realize you're not Latin, and then they just decide, oh my God, you're not one of us. Never mind.
Right.
It's interesting to kind of try to like dissect from just like a different standpoint now that we're older, like what was just typical girl on girl jealousy and what was actual like compassionate racism, what was blatant racism. Because sometimes it's like it can be categorized differently, and it's like women are so catty, and especially when we're young, we're so jealous and clueless of it.
Stupid.
Yeah.
We let it rule us, kind of.
All of our insecurities. I mean, that's crazy.
But so with white girls, you didn't experience anything like that, or you weren't really exposed to a lot of white chicks?
I think I only had 2 white friends. I had 2 white girlfriends. They were great. Alexa and Stephanie. Yes, they were fun.
Shout out to both of you.
Shout out to Alexa Ray and
oh my gosh,
Stephanie.
And also her big deal with Amazon, Alexa. You are killing it.
Okay, girl,
white privilege.
White privilege.
You figured it out.
But yeah, that's so interesting because I feel like I had the opposite. Like there was times when there was kind of like a lot of friction with black women in general. But for me also, like I could gauge the energy. Like if we could bust jokes and keep it a buck and be 100, like I could always find a way to vibe with you.
Right.
But if you're going to be stuck on just like the fake stereotypes of like, she thinks she's better, she talks proper, and like all this fake shit that's shoved down their throats through other people, I'm probably not gonna break that wall. Like you clearly want to think that. Like you want to think.
You're attached to that conclusion. So just run with it.
Who am I? Yeah.
Right.
So more importantly, who taught you how to comb your baby hairs?
What?
Because
are they popping?
My Dominican babysitter.
Oh, bitch. That's who taught you?
Let me tell you something. Those Spanish bitches will do a winged eyeliner and comb those baby hairs for the gods.
Bitch.
You do a toothbrush?
Swoop?
Yeah, well, it's a special brush for baby hairs.
I know that long wooden one.
It's the long wooden one. Bryn knows all about it. Come on, Curls.
Aaron? No.
It looks like that. Yes, it's the
Mm-hmm.
same brush. Yes,
Right. Exactly.
I'm not good at it at all.
I'm learning these days, but
I combed
like
this
that.
side and then was like, well, I'm just gonna put my hair
I
on
didn't comb
this side.
anything. I just, whenever it's time to do this, I'll do this, and then I'll
call it a day.
call it a day.
When I gotta flip it, I can flip it. Wait, but you didn't answer our pay it forward question when we were talking about guy preference. Like, obviously, Bridget's running.
I don't
through
have a
all
preference.
the mixed
I would
men in the
literally-
city.
I would literally, if you're mixed, come get your fix if you're mixed. No, I don't.
I'm happy that's your preference because we could go out now, bitch. Because I don't want shit to do with them.
I mean,
No comp. Y'all ain't got no comp between each other.
I'm like, all you.
I'd be like, yo, Brent.
I can't see him.
No, I don't. I really don't have a preference. I would date whoever. I really, at this point though, I will say because of my track record, I did
Tell
leave.
us all about it.
I did leave.
You ain't gotta
Jesus
answer that.
Christ.
No.
You gotta answer that.
Meanwhile, no,
No.
I left light skinned men in 2017.
Where they belong, like the good Lord intended.
This fucking girl.
What? But you're.
I mean, that was kind of the idea, you know.
Right.
We doubled back a couple times, but you know, just for shits and giggles.
I mean, I don't really have a preference, to be honest. I didn't even realize I had a type until like my very first like real relationship as an adult, you know, but I really just think it was because I was dating him and he was like light skinned and tall, and it was just like, well, I guess I like tall and light skinned. But I haven't.
do. And here we are cracking the code.
My baby daddy is not tall and light skinned
No, he's not.
at all. So she always
If
tries to put
he's
me in
light
this
skinned,
box.
you're light skinned. So stop. Just stop. Just knock it off. If he's light skinned, you're Rachel Dolezal. Knock it off. Just knock it off.
Racist and rude. But here's
true,
my
though.
thing, though.
Hmm.
You can't. I'm not saying that's your taste based off of your baby daddy's aesthetics. I'm saying that's your taste based off of history of your life.
Yeah, but if you look at everybody,
You sometimes would try to sprinkle in something to throw me off.
because I never had a preference. Like I never ever was like attracted to a light-skinned boy until I was in my adult relationship. Until I was in that adult relationship, I literally thought, think about it, up until him, who was light-skinned before him? Nobody. Think about it.
Well, I'm not
After
going to
him-
bust you out. I'll tell you off the mic.
Okay, well, write it
Oh my
down and let
God.
me know. But either way, after that, I started, participating. But I really think it was.
Then I accepted my fate of light-skinned men.
And I just dove in head first. Never to look back again.
But then it didn't follow because when I got to New York, it wasn't like that. You know what I mean? I think that for me, it's just like a preference off of the environment that I'm in. You know what I mean? Like,
She said, you get me to Wisconsin. Hey, how you doing? Where's the cheese? Where's the cowboys?
no, because it isn't like I'm not looking for a specific type. It's just a vibe. It's a chemistry. It's a, you know what I mean? What do we
Yeah.
have in common kind of situation. So,
That sounds cute.
yeah. But if you think about it, the only white boy I've ever dated was my first
Oh, yeah, I
kiss.
forgot. She's against dating white boys.
I am
You
not.
are?
No.
Yeah.
She
But I'm going to
annoyed.
push that narrative.
He's gonna push
racist.
it, and it's not even anti-white.
Oh
But
my
no, it's not.
goodness.
I just, I'm a victim of
Can't
my
say
environment. Like I went to all white schools, you know.
Right.
But when I got older, I wasn't hanging out with like white kids. You know what I mean? So I was just a product of my environment. Then when I got to New York, I really wasn't around white people, you know. So I think that's the only reason why I didn't really dive into that.
Well, you guys aren't missing shit. I did it for 5 years, and I'm telling you.
Nope, not missing anything
Not
on that
missing
side.
anything.
Grass ain't greener on the privilege yard, huh?
No.
It's not. It actually made her even
It
more
actually-
upset.
Yeah.
Really?
Pissed her off.
no.
It turns me into a very bitter Betty.
Oh no, bitter Betty.
Well, that's something you date. You're here for the white partnership and sexual
No, I don't know if I'm
activity.
here. I don't know if I have. Can I fill out an absentee ballot?
That's what you need to do. Right.
Because I don't really, because it's a really non-committal answer. Like I'm not looking for it. Like
Right. But if it comes on in your way,
In
Yeah,
your
like,
radar, you're
if
like,
it's, if it's something that's likable, why not?
I'm
open.
gonna start dribbling the ball too, because white niggas love me. I'm gonna give them all.
oh,
to you.
do they love you? All of them?
Yeah.
Apparently not the one that. Oh God, Asia.
All of them?
That was actually my dumping. Cute though. No, but seriously,
Yikes.
I don't fuck with them at all. And it's
Oh.
not. It doesn't have anything to do with like on some like conceited shit. It just has to do with like I have passable features and they're all secretly racist. That's what I think, though. But I'm also a black radical.
Oh no, that makes complete sense because that's usually what happens in my case too. And then I open my mouth and it's hey, nice to meet you. And it's like
when they find out how much you say nigga, they're like, whoa.
You low key Alicia Keys, like yeah, bro. What you thought? It's because we ain't got the braids. Okay. Don't be fooled.
Hello, soul sister. Right. Today we got.
Right.
No, but
this the waitress from the coffee shop on 39th and Lenox.
You got it. You really do got it.
Just